Hello, everybody. My name is Christian Slider, and welcome back to That's the Flavor, episode number 10. That's right, we're in the double digits finally, the big 1-0. I'm looking back to my 10-year-old, birthday party, and how that was a big moment. And this is a big moment for That's the Flavor too. Not necessarily does it turn 10, but I guess it's like 1/10 of 10. I don't know how that math works out because it hasn't really aged at all yet. But that's just kind of how it is. This week I am joined by Brady, Fran, and the new guest to the show, Ellen, for the long-awaited Midsummer special. Or if you want to get technical about it, I guess it's a Midsummer Night's Dream special. But Midsummer special sounds a little bit cooler. I'm not sure how you guys feel about my title choice for the week.
We're just the guests, Christian.
All right, you know what, Brady? I don't like that attitude. We gotta look. I know that the first episode you were on, Brady, was a little rough, but I need you to kind of ease into this one. I'm not trying to whip you into podcast shape this time.
I thought that was last week's job.
I feel like it's just every time you're on's job.
Still don't have it? All right.
Yeah, I don't know. We just have to kind of get there.
Okay.
One day it'll click. Who knows?
But I'll just be on every episode until.
Yeah, little do you know that the plan, audience, is to actually have Brady on next week, and the week after that, and the week after that. And he'll basically become the new Aussie for a little bit. So.
Oh, good, that's the title I want.
Brady's the new Aussie. But before we get into talking about all the Midsummer goodness, like a lot of us mainly just falling down random parts of a set, because that's what a lot of the things are, or there's a concussion mixed in there. We've got a couple of announcements that I want to go ahead and speed on into, tell you guys about a bunch of new things that's cooking with That's the Flavor. And it kind of works because flavor and cooking. This is a good time. I enjoy this. But first off, let's get into it, like how this week's episode of That's the Flavor is sponsored by Anchor, but I will tell you all more about that later. Hey everyone, it's everybody's favorite future Christian here to tell you a little bit about some of these announcements. Past Christian got a little bit ahead of himself, so let's really talk about what there is to announce that's new for That's the Flavor. First off, probably the biggest one is we have a new YouTube channel. So go ahead, go to YouTube and search for Christian Slider. Obviously, hi, that's me, the host of the podcast. And yeah, that's where I'm going to be uploading That's the Flavor, and it'll be there on YouTube. Hopefully next episode or the episode after that we'll actually be starting to do video versions. So right now episodes 1 through 10 will be in the process of being uploaded to that channel, and you'll be able to go ahead and listen to them there if that's an option you want to choose, because that's available to you. And the reason why it is Christian Slider and not That's the Flavor is because there are other projects that I want to work on, and being able to have it be Christian Slider allows me to work on those other projects and not feel so awkward while I work with them and do them. So that's why it's Christian Slider and not That's the Flavor, but it is going to be the home of That's the Flavor and That's the Flavor content. Hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. The other big one is we have an Instagram. You can go follow That's the Flavor with an underscore on Instagram. Right now, there's nothing crazy up there, but who knows? It may be a place that we'll be using soon to tease some merch. T-shirts, hoodies, etc., stickers. Maybe, though. I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. Maybe future Christian is having an illusion, and not really understanding what he's talking about. I don't really know. Who knows? But those are the two big things, the YouTube channel and the Instagram. Definitely go give those a follow or a subscribe. And be excited for new content, new That's the Flavor platforms to mess around with and have a good time. Hopefully you guys are excited as I am. And now let's get back into the podcast. Brady, how are you doing? Really break it down for me. I know, it's for us it's only been a couple of days, but for the audience it's been a whole week,
It's been more than a couple of days. I had my first weekend back at school, which was a blast. And by blast, I mean not at all a blast because there's nothing to do. But it's just really weird to be back on campus. It's really weird especially after so long at home over the summer. And it's interesting. I'm easing my way back in. We're figuring it out one step at a time.
Yeah, you're making some coffee, coming on a podcast.
Coffee. I am. I'm making coffee at, what is this, 8:20 at night? Because
that's a good telltale sign. That's what we like to hear.
Yeah. If that doesn't say everything that you need to know, I don't know what to tell you.
Also, you're apparently doing what I assumed originally was like 3 hours of reading, because
Yeah, and there's more to
Oh
come.
no,
I
that's terrible.
don't want to talk about it.
That's terrible. Have you thought about just like reading like the Rainbow Fish or like I don't know something like if you give a
Something
mouse a
easier?
cookie?
Ooh,
Yeah,
that's a good one. That's a classic. What a Don't Let the Pigeon Drive the Bus. Do you guys read that one?
Oh, yes.
Thank you, Fran. That's a classic.
Let's see what else. I mean, you also got all the Dr. Seuss stuff we haven't touched on. You got like Cat in the Hat. Come on now, that's also just a classic.
Hot take: Cat in the Hat, way overrated.
But Fran, how are you doing? We've heard enough about Brady. You know, we don't want to really hear too much more from him. Just keep him silent the rest of the episode kind of scenario.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I knew that's how you felt, but it still hurts to hear you say it.
Brady,
it's
look.
my turn to talk. Be quiet. I'm doing quite well. I started Zoom University.
Yes.
Yeah. What a time sitting in front of your laptop screen for just hours.
It's honestly my favorite thing. You know, it's what I live to do, is just sit in front of a screen for hours. So.
Yeah, my one professor put us in breakout rooms for 45 minutes without telling us what to discuss.
Oh no.
Yeah, so my tuition is definitely worth it.
I mean, hey, my college just announced that we're going to be online all of next semester as well.
Ooh.
So that was yeah, that was a fun thing today. So more Zoom University for me. That's great.
Kind of early.
You know what my least favorite thing about Zoom is?
Fran, what might that be?
It's about breakout rooms. It's when the professor's about to put you guys in breakout rooms, and it's like the moment where you're the first one in the breakout room, and you're just waiting for who's going to be in the breakout room with you. Because it could either be someone good, if you feel like you have friends in the class, or they're those people that you just desperately don't want to be in a breakout room with. And honestly, the last 2 weeks, my luck has been it's always those people.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
You know what else I also think about when I hear Zoom University, and Fran will get this, and Brady might also get this, but I think about college university from senior troop.
Oh, college university.
College university.
Little did we know.
We
had it good at college university.
College university. What a name choice. We really knew the future, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We took it for granted.
God.
We took for granted what we knew.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
But Fran, I'm glad to hear that you are, I wouldn't say enjoying Zoom University, but that it's happening and that, you know, it's here.
Yeah,
that you're live.
Yeah.
That's what we like to hear. Yeah. Now, Ellen.
Yes. Hello.
I saw your mic was muted. I was waiting for you to press the unmute because I knew it was coming. So, audience, obviously, we have a new guest to the show. Ellen, Brady, Fran, you know, they're old news. They're here again, but they're old news. You know, we're not... Brady and Fran who? That's what I say. Now, Ellen, we've known each other. I'll say, like, I knew you existed my sophomore year, but I think we became more friends my junior year when Midsummer was a thing.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, Midsummer sparked a lot of friendships, I think. So, yeah. That was
a very committed answer, Ellen. You sound very sure.
I am sure in everything during this time.
Little do we know, Ellen finds none of us as friends. It's all the truth. There were no friendships
on this
made.
Podcast to just destroy all of us.
That's my official podcast voice. Is this?
Wow.
It's a good voice.
Official.
Yeah.
In that I sound insincere apparently in everything.
I also like how professional your Skype profile picture looks.
Is it? What is my profile picture?
It's like
that's a headshot.
Yeah.
It's an old headshot. Before everything went downhill.
My screen is Ellen's headshot, and then it's me of the That's the Flavor logo with me in the recycling bin, and I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. That works. All right, but Ellen, more important questions. Friendships, whatever. But what is your go-to Christian Slider memory?
Oh, I think the moment, there's so many in Midsummer, but the one that stands out to me is when we had to rehearse the spooning scenes. Or rather the scenes that were happening while the spooning was happening. Which meant that you and I, who were just getting to know each other as friends, had to spoon for a significant period of time. And anytime we had to stop, like the action that was actually being rehearsed had to stop, it was like your arm kind of just like floated in the air. Like in between takes, like very respectfully, you were like, and now it goes. The scene was happening, you were like, my arm stays, and then the scene stopped, and you were like, and now it floats. Yeah, that's my go-to Christian Slider memory.
Oh man, I feel like that one's even better. Because Brady and Fran's, the past episodes they've been on, has been me falling down the stairs. And it was both of them. Last week it was Brady's, and when Fran was on the 6th episode, that was Fran's. And I just think that I was waiting for it to be the triple threat, but that one's even better.
Yeah, man, that one's my favorite. Although, do you remember what I did when you fell down the stairs? Not like when you fell down the stairs, but after you fell down the stairs?
Oh, I remember.
I feel like I do, but it enlightened me.
I don't know if we're saying specific names on this this podcast. Anyway,
we avoid those.
Well, what's that?
I mean, you can. Worst comes to worst, I'll censor it. I'll edit it out.
Oh, well, anyway, we were like directed to do that scene where we had to like fight a little bit, and you had to push me or something, and they were trying to choreograph this, and you were injured, right, from falling down the stairs. And I was very indignant and was like, excuse me, Christian can't do it. He fell. He hurt himself. He has to mark it.
Well, my favorite was after the assemblies were over, and like we were all like talking, and I remember this explicitly because you were like, "Hey, can we all give like Christian a round of applause for just really powering through those assemblies?" And then everybody applauded, and I just felt really awkward because it was the entire cast like applauding me for doing my job. Like,
I don't remember that at all, but I totally believe that was something that I did.
She's like, "Oh, let's give Christian a round of applause for like really powering through," and I was like, "No, I'm fine, I'm okay."
That's like when someone, like when people sing happy birthday to you and they mean to do it as like a nice thing, but then you just sit there and it's terrible. I'm assuming that's how that
during people singing happy birthday. I still don't know the answer to it.
I kind of stare blankly at the table.
I think I black out. I just straight up black out.
No memories of any. Yeah.
But
my favorite, I have a good Christian and Ellen memory.
Okay.
Yeah.
For the record, my favorite Christian memory is the spooning memory, but I wanted to save that for this episode, so I told the stairs one.
Oh, okay.
But the sub memory.
Oh no.
Is
I think I know what this is.
When there's the scene where Christian and Ellen sort of have a tender moment together, and there's like a quick kiss, but more importantly, there's a moment where he has to like stroke her cheek.
Oh wait, I also don't remember that.
Seductively, but also just tenderly, like you would someone whose cheek you would stroke. Christian, maybe has never stroked anyone's cheek. I'm not sure. Really, it seemed like he had never interacted with a human being before when this was happening. We had to work on that scene, I swear, for like at least an hour. Just this moment, just this one interaction. Because Christian kept slapping her with the back of his hand. Seriously, the sound it made was, it was loud. I mean, you're
solid smack.
You don't want a loud sound. Really, you don't want any sound at all, I don't think. But Christian, just every time, whap, right there.
Oh yeah, don't worry, Hermia. I really love you. Just slap. That's what it is.
That's how
yeah, I remember many an embarrassing moment that I had during, I think, that same scene. Should I share it now?
Yeah, we're just kind of talking. I feel like we're in that Midsummer territory already. We're in the thick of it.
All right, cool. Well, I think it was the same scene, but I remember, like, it's early on in the show, right? And we're establishing these two characters' relationships, and we were supposed to kiss before you left the stage, or we both left the stage, and you had a line before our characters had to kiss. But one time, I think I was just so, like, anxious about it that you were still talking. Your mouth was still moving words, and I went to kiss you in this scene, and I was aware that you were still talking, but it was like once I started, the train was just moving, and I couldn't stop. It remains one of the most awkward moments in a ever experienced.
I think it's funny because I actually went and watched the recording that's still on YouTube of Midsummer.
It's still on YouTube?
Yeah, it's still there. Also, and I watched it, and I was like, because that first scene still also has no audio, which is a great time.
Right.
Yeah, and so I was watching it, and I was like, okay, I can't hear what I'm saying, but man, was like junior year actor Christian so awkward. Like, and it's like looking at it now, I'm like, oh no.
No, wait. Going back to Ellen's memory, do you guys remember the distinct line that came from that moment?
No.
You guys were, before we even got like into the scene, and our director was like, okay, you're gonna be spooning.
So my head at her
for the life of him find out how to spoon another human being. And he goes, so my head at her feet.
I was already on the ground. I was lying on the ground, and it's just Christian standing over me, being like, "How?"
Meanwhile, Brady and I are on the other side, just like chilling.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, I wanted to be a little bit defensive here, because dear God, was I stupid. But two, if she would have just said, "Hey, just spoon," that would have been fine. But instead, it was like, "No, you're gonna like lay." I don't know how. It was some way that confused me enough to where like I started trying to like lay perpendicular to Ellen, like parallel to.
I don't think she said the word spoon.
Right.
I think she articulated it differently. Yeah.
I don't know. Brady and I, we
got it though.
Virtual high five.
We know what we were doing.
We knew what was up.
Yeah.
That spooning also sucked because, mind you, it was after probably one of the most like intense physical scenes ever.
Tell me about it.
So sweaty.
So much like holding you two back from like chasing each other, and then I had to be like, "Oh, now I gotta run around," and then you gotta run around.
Well, the funny thing I remember is that it wasn't just like we had to lay down and spoon. It was we had to like roll.
So, right.
Like Fran, you were laying down, right, on the stage. But when I laid down, I was like a couple body widths away, and I like had to roll myself into like the spooning position, and I'd like get it perfectly right, or else I'd either like bump into you and mess it up that way, or I'd be too far away and have to do like the little scooch to get it right. Hardest thing I've ever done on stage.
what was great about that is on top of the rolling, we also had to act like we were asleep, it was the most difficult thing when we're like heaving and like trying to like slow down our breathing and everything after running around. So it's like, all right, how many breaths can I take without like people seeing that I'm breathing like I just ran around for a whole like 10 minutes? Like,
the thing is that Helena just runs that entire show, so I think by that point I was truly just knocked out on stage.
Yeah, like I'd come home after a rehearsal, I'd be so tired, I'd like sit down on the couch and I'd fall asleep. My parents would be like, "Why are you so tired? You were just at rehearsal, right?" I'd be like, "Yes." And then they
yes, I was.
came and saw the show, and they were like, "Oh, no."
Do you guys remember how I had to be taught how to run properly?
I was just gonna bring that up. Christian, you were really a mess in this show, man.
Okay, that entire year for me was a mess. So, but yeah, I was definitely a mess because it's like, oh, Lysander's supposed to run off stage, and then I was just like, Christian, what are you doing? That's not a run. Oh, all right, yeah, you're right. Let me try again. Still just messing it up. All right, third time's a charm. Messes it up. Hey, Nick, can you come teach Christian how to run?
I thought you were doing like a bit at first. I thought it was like a really weird character choice you were
doing. I wish.
And I just couldn't understand it. But then it was just clear that you didn't know what you were doing. It was a mistake.
And I love it because the trade-off was, hey, Nick, can you teach Christian how to run? And then, Christian, maybe when you're done with that, you can teach, Nick how to, use his lower vocal range. And I was like, this doesn't feel like a fair trade-off. Something about this seems off. But before we get into too much more Midsummer stuff, I want to also let you guys know about today's That's the Flavor sponsor. Okay, and then there'd be an ad here, but we don't have an ad. We have an ad, but not now. So
nice.
gotta wait like 5 more seconds, and then And we are back. So let's see, what other Midsummer stuff haven't we touched on? Haven't we really dissected enough? Because I know there's still some good ones out there.
Fran, I have a question for you.
Hit me. We
were married for 2 plays, right? We were.
Yeah.
And we never kissed. I think we might have hugged once, but that was it.
Well,
what the hell was up with that?
Because with Midsummer, Demetrius doesn't like Helena.
Well, that is a fair point.
That's true.
They just get married because he's drugged up. And I don't know what happened with Mistress Paige and Paige. What's his first name?
Mister.
Yeah, I want to say George.
Oh, I know, Master.
No, because in the play he has a name like Thomas, but then his wife is like, "Hey, George," he calls him by the wrong name.
So that's why. Got it.
Right.
I don't know. They had kids. They're just vibing.
Yeah, mind you, it's even weirder because in Merry Wives, again, so audience, Merry Wives is the play that the Shakespeare troupe we did our following year after Midsummer. And Merry Wives, the Pages are an established couple. They have a family. And they never
Nope. Never kissed.
Never.
No,
never
because
kissed.
I remember Mrs. Hench being like, "Oh, okay, Fran, you'll cross the stage and maybe a kiss." And we turned, we were like, "Yeah," and she was like, "No." We were like, "Okay."
Really?
Cool.
All right.
Yeah.
Wait, really, you guys? Wow, we get to. But I want to get into what I think was equally one of the most annoying yet enjoyable experiences of Midsummer, which was buying and shopping for all of our own costume pieces.
Oh.
Gotta love it.
Because looking back on it, how did that happen? How was that fair?
I have no clue.
I don't know. I still wear the sandals that I had to throw at Fran during the fight scene.
That's cute.
Pretty durable. At least we bought clothes that theoretically we could wear again.
Yeah.
I still have the super happy t-shirt.
Oh yeah, the super happy. Oh, we love irony. Weren't you supposed to eat a tub of ice cream during
my
I was
goodness.
supposed to eat ice cream, and then I got super sick, like, before the show started. And you were like, I don't care, it's fine. Because we were supposed to share the ice cream at one point.
Oh, yeah.
And you were
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I don't care, it doesn't matter. And Mrs. Hunter's like, no. So,
See,
we were unlucky as a cast, so we didn't want to push fate.
It's true.
But the idea of the combination of the super happy t-shirt and you sadly eating ice cream.
Yeah, no, I came on, like, crying in these jogger sweatpants. I think they were actually Ellen sweatpants, and a shirt that just said super happy. Ugh, that was the best costume I've ever worn for a show.
I think my favorite thing about shopping for the costumes was when we were in the Walmart, and I know Brady will remember this, and Fran and Ellen will probably come back to you. So at the same time, I thought it was a great idea to both, one, while we were shopping for the costumes, buy my poster board so I could ask Grace out to prom, or ask Grace to prom. And I was like, hey, Brady, you know, jokingly, like, if you see Grace where we're looking for clothes or stuff, just give me like a caw. You know, give me a signal. And like, I'm looking at a shorts rack.
A casual caw.
A
yes, of course. Yeah. And I had the poster board in my hand, and like didn't want to be noticed or whatever, like in case it happened. So, and then I'm looking through shorts trying to find my size, and all of a sudden Brady goes, caca. Now, mind you, when I said it to Brady, it was the most joking thing in the world. It was like, hey, like, if it happens, you know, just let me know. So I was like, I look up at Brady, I go, really? And he's like, yeah. So I like shove the poster board in the shorts rack and like duck down so I can't be seen, and also praying that she doesn't recognize the three of you and ask what you're doing. So I like duck down and hide as she passes by, and then after a little bit of time passes, I go, Brady, can I come out yet? And he's like, yeah, you're good. And then I pop back out, and we continue to like do our shopping.
Okay, but like, I've thought about this a lot. What are the odds?
Right?
There, like Walmart at like 8, 9 o'clock on a school night in the middle of, I don't know, what month was this?
Well, to
March,
be fair, it wasn't that late, because the whole reason we ended up in Walmart was because Shakespeare had like their Chipotle night, and so we went like from there over to Walmart.
Okay.
So it wasn't that late, but
all the places.
The sheer odds. And I mean, like, mind you, it's not like she's like from another state. So like, Walmart, it's possible, but
no, but like also Walmart is a big store. Like it's entirely possible for two people to be in a Walmart and not run into each other at all.
Oh, 1,000%.
Yeah. But there we were. In the men's clothing section. We had to hide in the shorts rack.
I really could have just hid the poster board in the shorts rack. I don't think I would have had to hide, like, looking back on it.
You really could have done anything else.
Could have done anything, and it would have worked out. I could have thrown the poster board at Brady, said, no, he's asking someone to prom, you know?
It could have been a poster for a project.
Yeah, no, because
board can be used for many different things.
Yes, but Ellen, when paranoid junior year me being around prom season, you got to be careful. That's dangerous territory. That's a explosion waiting to happen.
That's true. That's true.
There was also the entire reason that we were falling so much on the set that they had to add grit to the ramps so we wouldn't fall anymore.
Yeah.
And I go to, there's example A and example B for this, right? So there's example A, which is Ellen, you slipping on the ramp. That's like was right in the front area of the stage. Yeah, there was that. And then example B was when I was entering for a scene towards the end of the rehearsal run, and I like just slipped and fell on my face, and then immediately scrambled back up to try to continue doing the scene. And everyone had to tell me, no, go back and do it again. I like ran out, slipped, fell, got up, said my line, and like, no, go back. And I was like, okay, all right, sure, we'll do that again.
For the record, I'd like to be excluded from the we fell on everything because I did not fall once during that.
All right.
I'm pretty sure he sabotaged all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to confirm or deny that, but
I don't like that sound, Brady. I don't like that. I don't like the way that sounds.
You don't have to.
Oh, okay. That's all. That's scary.
Yeah.
I think the other interesting through line, among all these stories of us falling, is that no matter how injured we were always like, oh no, we're fine, and then would keep going.
Oh, 1,000%.
Right? No matter how dumb it was. Like, I remember when I fell, I had to, convince
it was bad.
everyone, like, I'm good. No, I can keep going. I'm good. Like, it hurt, but I was like, I'm fine. And then it wasn't until I was home later and, I put an ice pack on my knee, and I was like, oh, it's really hard to walk. I can't really walk well anymore. And it was just so swollen. I was like, oh, maybe I wasn't okay. But in the moment, you've got the adrenaline going.
Yeah.
But it was great because I remember you were selling it to everybody that you were fine, and then at the time with the group chat that the four of us had, you got home and you're like, yeah, so I'm not so fine, or something along those lines, and I was like, yeah, we all figured,
we know, Ellen.
Yeah. We figured it out.
Truly, I thought I was okay.
Fair.
I did. But yeah, and then, oh, get this, the next day, I think I used my knee as an excuse, that injury as an excuse for being late to school the following morning, when really it was just that I was running late. But I remember really hamming it up to my homeroom teacher, being like, oh yeah, it's just I was limping a little bit, but I think I really hammed it up, being like, yeah, I just got this. It's really hard for me to walk fast.
Wow.
It's just really hard right now, and I can't. I can't right now.
I was like, I can't get to school on time. This knee.
Well,
and they bought it. Wow, I'm impressed.
I mean, yeah, I was for the most part, a good kid. I was a little goody two shoes.
Yeah.
For the most part. So I think I was, I got away scotch-free that time. Yeah.
I'm happy that worked out for you.
Here. Thank you.
Yeah. And yeah, you talk about tanking through the injuries. I mean, whenever I fell down the stairs, that happened the day of the student assemblies. So I had to deal with that injury for all the shows. And so they were like, hey, why don't you wear a long sleeve dress shirt, which in the time was fine. And then I injure my arm to the point where I can't move it as much anymore. And I'm like, it hurts. And it's putting on shirt hurts. And then on top of that, we didn't have necessarily a bunch of time to change from one scene into the final scene, because everyone remembers that scene.
Yeah.
And that was worse. But it all worked out. It all worked out. But Fran, there's one injury we haven't talked about. There's one injury, and it's in my notes for the episode as the concussion rehearsal.
Yeah. Okay, so here's my perspective on what happened.
Okay.
As Helena, originally we had it blocked out that I was going to jump onto, at that time we had two people playing Demetrius, I was going to jump onto this person, and my legs and my arms would go around them. And we did it a few times, and it was fine. It went great. We were laughing. We were living. And then just one time I jumped up and I got my legs around the person, but not my arms. And I started falling backwards. And to me, it was slow motion. I turn my head to the right and look at the director, and she's starting to get out of her chair and yelling. And I'm just what's happening? And then suddenly I'm blacked out on the floor. And I come to, and she's standing over me, and she's like, oh my God. And then my favorite part is Ellen, who we weren't super friends then, comes around from backstage and goes, did I miss something? She's like, why isn't the scene starting while I'm concussed on the floor?
Yeah. Well, Christian and I were in the wings, and also, Fran, I feel like we were friends at this point.
We were friends, but we weren't close like we are now.
That's true. That's fair. That's fair. Again, like I said, budding friendships during Midsummer. But yeah, so Chris and I, we had these long periods of time where we were backstage, and so he and I would just like we'd go through lines, right, Christian? We would just, chat it up, and I guess we were distracted, and all of a sudden there was like this silence. And I was like, did we miss a cue? What's going on? And so yeah, I walked out. I was like, did we miss something? Like, did we miss our entrance? No, it's just Fran blacked out on the floor. But yeah, now that I think about it, that probably sounded really insensitive because we didn't know what had happened. But the fact that I was just like, hello.
But because the thing to know about the auditorium is that this was before our set was built, so we were just like on the floor of the auditorium.
Oh, right.
Is that it looks carpeted, but it's just like a thin layer of carpet over cement.
It's true.
So I truly don't remember much about what happened. But then we kept rehearsing and like we kept doing the same blocking. And it was the end of rehearsal. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go home. And they were like, Fran, didn't you drive here? And I was like, yeah. And so our assistant director was like, Fran, I think I should drive you. I was like, no, I'm good. She was like, I'll follow you or something. I was like, no, I'm good. So I drove home and I remember so distinctly, I was eating pasta and watching The Office.
Yes. As one does.
Dwight was on screen and it just started swirling. And I was like, well, that's just weird, isn't it? And my mom was like, we're going to urgent care. And the doctor there was like, well, you really had your bell rung.
Well, that's comforting.
I was just like staring at her. She's like, I sit behind you in church sometimes. I was like, I cannot recognize your face or where I
am. Well, because I think... Oh, go ahead.
I don't know if I talked about this last time I was on here. Did I tell you guys that the next day I went back to school and immediately hit my head on a metal beam?
No.
I was going up to one of the lofts, like up to the catwalk, and I was with another girl from the troupe, and I banged my head so hard right where I'd gotten concussed, like right where that got hit, and I like couldn't see for a second, and then I was fine, and she was like, Fran, I was like, this does not leave this loft, they will never know.
Well, what was great about you getting concussed, or wait, hang on.
Thanks.
Okay, what was interesting about you getting concussed was at the time, like, we were getting ready to do the scenes, like, me and Ellen were talking, but at that time, I believe that the blocking was different than it ended up being, so, like, Ellen had to come down, or at least was up on the big ramp that was in the back, and I had a different entrance, so at some point it was like, okay, we should probably get ready to, like, do the scene, and then I was able to really clearly see what happened, and then I think everybody in the midst of it just forgot that Ellen existed because of everything going on. And so then I remember looking over my shoulder and you see Ellen just like peek her head out from around the corner, like a bunch of feet above us, and go like, what's going on? Like, it's still just the funniest thing to me. He's like, oh, hey, what's happening, guys?
I had no idea. I was in my own little world.
Hanging out, having a good time.
Wondering why it was silent, wondering why people were upset.
Wondering why people were upset.
Little did I know. A catastrophe had occurred.
Now, here's an interesting question, because I was thinking about this as we were talking. Were in the auditions for Midsummer, were the four of us ever paired together to audition?
I can answer that for sure.
Because I know.
Because I was not at the auditions for Midsummer.
Oh, that's right.
Then how can you not answer it for sure? If you weren't there, then the answer is no.
I can't answer it for sure. And the answer is no, we were not paired together.
Because I remember that then you fast forward against the year to Merry Wives, which I feel like at one point there will also be a Merry Wives special of some kind. So, which will just be Brady, Fran, and me, and then
right. I graduated. I went and saw that show, but
yes,
we can phone Liz in.
Yeah, no, we totally can. Probably have Ozzy on too, make it a big special. Have a good time. Yeah, but I remember that for the auditions for that show, it was like all of a sudden we looked around and it was me, Brady, and Fran, and we're like, we know what's happening here. We know what's going on.
Yeah.
I've
also,
never felt more confident than whenever it was the three of us up there reading for like the it's two couples again. So we were just like, yep, all right.
Yep.
but I've never felt more confident when she was like, when it finished, and then she was like, "Oh no, I know you guys can do better than that," and then like sat us down, had another group come up, and then had us do it again.
Right.
And I was like, you didn't change anything around. You just brought us back up. Like, okay, all right, I see what's we really see what's happening here.
Yeah. I mean, what else was it gonna be?
I mean, technically, if we're being proper, it could have been anybody, Brady.
I know, but
What, Brady, you want to say?
We were the safe choice.
no, I'm just saying that she loved to couple me and Fran and Christian and
Whoever. Is that your statement?
Yeah.
So your statement is, she loved to put together me and Fran, and then Christian just, yeah. Christian had a rotating cast. That's the statement.
What about Midsummer auditions, though? Because I really don't remember. Like, Christian, were you and I paired together?
I don't think we were. And I know that because, my audition for Lysander, because I knew for whatever reason that I really wanted Lysander, which is stupid. You shouldn't do that in audition, kids. Don't listen to me. Don't go in there hoping for one part. I mean, you can do it, but then just know you're lowering your chances. But when they're hoping for one part, and I felt so bad at the end of it because the person that I basically roped into doing the scene with me didn't necessarily want to go for Hermia, but like I was like, oh no, you come on, like just please do this, it'll be fine. And I out of nowhere pulled off like this, what I'm gonna say, stellar performance. And I remember at the end I like kneeled down and kissed her hand in the audition, and everybody in the audience was like, yeah, everybody in the audition audience was like, ooh, because it was me, and everyone's like, oh. Christian's dumb. And then that was that. But like I don't think we ever read together in auditions. Like I know that then you auditioned and like I auditioned, but I don't think we ever read together.
Well, I had no idea what to expect because remember that was my first and only year with the troupe. I had never done a Shakespeare audition before, so I feel like the whole time I was just like, what is happening?
What is going on?
What am I doing? What are these words? Like
we walk into this auditorium.
Shakespeare. But I mean, it was fun, I think. I like auditions, so
I like auditions too. Yeah.
Like auditions scare me less than they used to because they're just practice. Like at the very least, even if you don't get a part or whatever, it's just practice in front of an audience, and I find them more fun though when I look at them that way.
Oh, for sure. It's like a chance to, do what you love, and then there's the chance that, well, at least in the real world, you might get a job out of it. So
exactly.
Different in high school.
Yeah.
The stakes,
extremely.
for whatever reason, when you're in high school, seem a lot higher than
they do
in real life. But, high school, teenagers.
That was like today in one of my classes, we spent out of a 2-hour class, like an hour and 30 minutes breaking down the amount of jobs that exist in the world of theater. And I was like, man, I really wish someone would have told me this in high school. And then I would have just like maybe calmed down a little bit more, like chilled out, had a good time. But no.
Right. In high school, you take everything so seriously, and your view, I think, for the typical high school is very limited of what theater actually is and what, the future could look like if you pursue a career in that industry.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But to end on a lighter note, because we don't want to talk about serious topics on That's the Flavor.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I let us into it. But Brady, Ellen, and Fran, you've already answered this. You were on a whole episode about it. I got to ask you an important question, see where you guys stand. Brady, I'm going to ask you first.
I'm prepared.
Who would win in a fight?
Oh my god.
15 baby ducklings or a Shaquille O'Neal sized loaf of Wonder Bread?
Christian, I think I might have asked you this question first a long time ago.
No.
No, this is my Twitter poll.
This was a me question that was turned into a Twitter poll.
All right. If you say so.
Right. Right. On the bus trip to what we figured out had to have been Antony and Cleopatra.
No, okay. No, I won't debate
Brady?
it.
Brady, I'll do.
My answer is the ducklings. I think you underestimate ducklings. I spent time around ducklings. I like to consider myself a friend to the ducklings. And I think that their capacity for bread eating is a lot higher than a lot of people give them credit for.
Fair point.
So, in that capacity, I'm going to go for the ducklings.
I respect it. And I'm going to put an asterisk here on something because, Fran, I want to note that whenever we discussed the duckling versus bread battle on episode number 6, we discovered that ducklings supposedly could jump 65 feet. I have since then found out that they cannot jump 65 feet.
I'm glad it took you 4 episodes to realize that.
So we learned they can survive like a fall of 65 feet. But they can't jump straight up. Their jump is roughly like 6 inches.
That's pretty good, honestly.
That checks out for a duckling.
Yeah, which I feel like if you still stack them up, have the top one jump, our theory still works, Fran. But I wanted to put an asterisk there and make sure that I brought that up to you, because 65 feet, not the answer.
The more you know.
Now, Ellen, where do you stand on this very important issue?
Right. Well, so here's the thing about Wonder Bread is that it's not just any kind of bread, right?
Right.
Now, growing up, I didn't consume a lot of Wonder Bread. For whatever reason, that was not our bread of choice as a family.
The reason is it's bad.
Oh, well, there you go. See, so as someone who's not really an expert on that type of bread, but I do have a passion for bread. Something that's very personal to me. I love eating bread, just all carbs in general. So, you know, I feel like it really comes down to how old the bread is, possibly. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. You know the staleness of the bread. Right?
Right.
How hardy are the carbs that we're talking about here? That's a lot.
Fair point.
I think for the purposes of this bout, the bread should be at its peak.
Yeah. I mean, it could be like just super stale, and it's just as hard as a rock, and the Ducks aren't winning that battle.
Yeah,
it's just impenetrable.
Right, they're delicate.
We're going regulation duck versus bread rules.
All right.
Regulation rules.
Yeah. What, you think this is some... What? We're not running an illegitimate duck fighting thing here, Christian.
Yeah, but Brady, I like to think we're talking alleyway cage match, you know?
Why would you make them do that? That's just mean.
Well, because
that implies some speed, and it seems like it would take a while for all this bread to be consumed.
This is a battle of stamina.
It's a battle of attrition.
Yeah. These ducklings are young, they've not been out in the field for very long. So you're talking about a group of amateurs here.
Yeah.
Can I say that I think that Ellen is biased not only because she loves bread, but also I witnessed an event in somewhat recent history in which we were near a lake, and there was a full-grown duck, mind you, but a duck nonetheless, who Ellen called ugly, and then it started to come towards her. It was definitely looking
in my defense. In my defense, it was.
I don't hear your
It was
defense.
Objectively ugly.
I'm
it
not
was
going to say it
not
was beautiful.
easy on the eyes.
I'm not going to say it was a pretty duck, but I will say that it did square up to Ellen. It did approach Ellen, so I think that might be biasing her opinions.
Now, I want to point out that Ellen is here right now. So that means I have one question, Ellen. What did you do to the duck?
Well, I cowered, if I'm going to be honest. I was not. Oh. It caught me at an off moment. I went on total defense. Fran and I were sitting on a bench, and I removed my feet from the ground, and I believe curled up into some kind of upright fetal position. Is what I did when the duck approached.
Classic Ellen.
Yeah.
Christian, I think the better question is, what did the duck do to Ellen to deserve such unprovoked slander?
I feel like it had to have quacked, or just like looked dumb, you know?
Ellen did a quack.
It was giving me a look.
Oh, it's the look.
It was looking at me in a certain kind of way.
So
I didn't like it.
You just call everyone who looks at you ugly? Is that how it goes?
Yeah, that about sums it up.
Fair enough. Respect your honesty.
Yeah, but we're talking about. I mean, the subjects at hand are ducklings, which are so much cuter than your average duck, full-grown duck.
This is a fair point.
So, yeah, the ducklings have my full support. I mean, I only wish them well in their young lives, but, don't diminish the power of bread.
And again, let's make sure, because not only is it the power of bread, but it's the power of a Shaquille O'Neal-sized loaf of Wonder Bread.
It's true. Now, that's a question about this loaf of bread. It's Shaquille O'Neal in height, right? So over 7 feet for anyone who doesn't know the height of Shaquille O'Neal. But is it Shaquille O'Neal width as well? Is it?
Yes.
Is it in the shape, the physical shape of Shaquille O'Neal?
Okay, so not the physical shape. It's not like it's not a butter sculpture, but of bread. Okay. It is just still a block of bread, but give me the height and width of Shaquille O'Neal. Yeah.
So it's the volume of Shaquille O'Neal is what we're looking for.
What about taste? Is it Shaquille O'Neal flavored?
That's just bizarre.
Ellen, what is the flavor?
What a bizarre question to pose.
Can ducks taste? Do we know?
All right, quick to Google, Christian, to Google.
They have
Google what does
tongues.
Shaquille O'Neal taste like, please.
Well, hang on, let's get the easy one out of the way. Can ducks taste? This is the easy one. The sense of taste in waterfowl is generally considered to be less well developed than that of mammals and many other animals. Generally speaking, the more taste buds you have, the better your sense of taste. Waterfowl have only about 400 taste buds, while humans have 9,000, and catfish have a whopping 100,000.
I would not want to be a catfish. What else are they tasting that we can't?
Wait, did they ask the ducks? How do they know?
Biology doesn't exist. They just asked the ducks.
Because if they asked the duck who squared off with me, I don't trust him.
Like he would have lied to the scientists.
Ellen,
he would, out of spite.
Biology.
Now, the second question that Brady posed, well, Ellen posed, and then Brady told me to ask, which is definitely going to put me on some kind of watch list after typing this into Google. What does Shaquille O'Neal have a doctorate in? Wait a minute. Wait. Pause. Pause. Shaquille O'Neal has a doctorate in education.
Wow. Good for Shaq.
Okay.
All right. Okay, but more importantly, what does Shaquille O'Neal...
Forget his life accomplishment.
Yeah, for real.
Taste like. 5-year anniversary of Shaq.
Probably tastes like Gold Bond.
Yeah.
Don't say that, Fran. I don't want it.
The first article that comes up is 5-year anniversary of Shaq's Kobe. Tell me how my ass tastes. Freestyle.
Well, how does it taste?
I don't know. And I'm going to click off.
Closer to the truth.
There's a Wikipedia article about the Shaq-Kobe feud. The Many Faces of Shaq by CSP Daily News. Oh wait, a review of Shaquille O'Neal's fruit-flavored cream soda.
Wow.
That's probably it.
I mean, you are what you eat, so...
Let's see.
Businessman and a scholar.
Blueberry Shaquille O'Neal brand cream soda.
Ew.
Pre-drink thoughts. I decided to start off with the blueberry one because blueberries are wonderful, and I like them in my pancakes, in a muffin, and amongst other fruit.
No.
Plus, this flavor was initially sold out at my local 7-Eleven, so it has to be at least somewhat decent. The first sip. Well, it does have a blueberry flavor to it. It doesn't taste... It doesn't taste like blueberries, but if this were a blindfold taste test, I would ace it. I'd be all blueberry, no doubt, and the dude would be like, nailed it. Mid-drink thoughts. It's not bad, but it's definitely not a beverage I would purchase, or drink for that matter. The artificial flavoring is really starting to annoy me. What's actually in this? Contains 1% juice. Ugh. Final thoughts. If this is the best one of the bunch, which I think it is, I'm in big trouble. Mind you, of course, this is coming from Logan Rhodes at BuzzFeed.com back in... Give me a date, maybe updated on August 20, 2020, posted on June 19th, 2013.
Wow.
That's pretty recent info.
Dedicated.
What was the recent edit? I'm trying to scroll to the bottom to find out at this point. That's more interesting than me.
Can we talk about the fact that they said that one of the first parts of their review was this blueberry flavored thing tastes like blueberry? It's like if I ate a chocolate bar and went, yep, it tastes like chocolate.
To be fair, if you ate a chocolate bar that didn't taste like chocolate, I think that would be worth sharing.
Well, but that's not the first thing you point out.
Yeah, the author seems to have he set the bar pretty low already for it to be a pleasant surprise that the blueberry flavored drink tastes like blueberries.
He's doing Shaq a favor.
What did he say that he needed to take back that he edited an article that was released in 2013?
Oh, it was released in 2013.
A few weeks
released
ago.
in 2013 and then edited in August of this year. So 7 years later, there's an edit, and it's not an update. It's just he edited out something 7 years later.
Man.
BuzzFeed boggles my mind.
There are
that's
hours at work.
That's it.
And on that note of BuzzFeed boggling Ellen's mind, it's time to bring this episode of That's the Flavor to a close.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh no, Ellen, don't. That makes me sad. I would go for like 4 hours if we could, but that kind of then nobody wants to listen, and it's 4 hours long, and the logistics, numbers, crunching them on a 1080 Ti calculator. Yeah. But episode number 10 of That's the Flavor, the Midsummer special. Not only did we hammer out all the funny bits of Midsummer that happened during that show, with probably some of my favorite people on this episode. Are having some of my favorite people on this episode. Let me correct that so it doesn't make it seem like you're only my favorite people when you're on this episode. We are. We also finally hit double digits on That's the Flavor, and honestly, I just want to say thank you guys for all your support on this show. It wouldn't exist without you guys. It wouldn't have continued without you guys. I mean, it might have, like, in a basement, not uploaded anywhere, but who knows? That's not real That's the Flavor, That's not the flavor. So thank you guys for 10 episodes and for sticking with it, listening, telling your friends, telling your grandmother, telling your college professors, just telling everybody, and just really having a good time along with me and my friends as we talk about my life or funny things that happen and just having a really good time. And also thank you guys for allowing me to expand to the point of having the Twitter account, having a TikTok, the Instagram, the YouTube channel, and the Twitch to do all these other things that I want to do to entertain you guys and make That's the Flavor more inclusive, so it's shown and it's presented in some way that is entertaining to all of you. So yeah, just thank you guys for 10 episodes, and we're not stopping anytime soon. At least I hope not. Let's like knock on wood. I don't have any wood near me. There, I found some.
Gotcha.
There we go. And yeah, Brady, Fran. Well, hang on. Brady, thank you for coming back on That's the Flavor. I appreciate it, especially back-to-back episodes.
Absolute pleasure.
I'm glad. Now, Brady, here's a question. This episode or last episode, what's your favorite? Now, be careful because you'll hurt Ozzy's feelings, depending on what you answer.
I will. I don't have any problem hurting Ellen's feelings because of what she said about ducks. So I'm going to go with last episode.
Dang. All right. Fran,
yeah.
Fran, thank you for coming on That's the Flavor as well. I appreciate it. Your second episode. I hope it was enjoyable as the first.
Absolutely.
That's good. I'm glad. And Ellen, thank you for coming on for your first time on That's the Flavor, and hopefully not the last.
Oh my goodness, I would love to be back. This was so much fun and a welcome distraction from homework. So thank you.
Of course. An audience, little does she know, she's never getting invited back ever. This was a trick.
Oh no!
No,
Listen,
I'm kidding.
I can
Right.
reach a compromise about the ducks.
Okay. Sure you
That's
can.
what they all say.
We'll do a backstage video of her apologizing to the duck.
All right. I think that's what the audience needs at this point. But until next time, I've been Christian Slider. This has been That's the Flavor with Fran, Brady, and Ellen. And until next episode, guys, stay flavorful.